To obtaining the best resolution for your divorce or other family law case by consistently providing skilled representation, expert legal advice, and personal attention. Attorney Lewert has developed an excellent reputation for providing effective divorce and family law representation in Boca Raton and the surrounding communities. Lewert Law Offices offers legal advice and representation in a wide range of family law matters, including divorce, child custody, time sharing and visitation, child support, alimony, complex asset distribution, post-judgment modifications, and paternity actions. For expert representation in all aspects of divorce and family law, contact attorney Tina Lewert today at 561-544-6861 or visit www.lewertlaw.com. You are listening to the Ask the Expert Show with host Steve-O. We will be right back with more experts in the field of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. Join us every Thursday from 6 p.m. Now, get ready for more Ask the Experts.
This is the Ask the Expert Show. We're on every Monday and Thursday from 6 to 7 drive time. And we have a star. I think she is a star. She has been with us 3 years now, and it is, I'm going to say this, it is my favorite show to do. It's so easy. And not only is she's a bulldog when it comes to family law, but she's so sweet, though. I mean, every time I talk to her, she's taking care of one of her relatives. It is so good, Tina Lewert, to see you.
Hi, good to see you too. My gosh.
It's been a while.
Yeah, and it's the holidays, so happy holidays.
Yeah. So you're back in town.
I'm back. Yeah, I had a
Business
little.
is open.
Oh, business is open. Business has not been closed. We've been open for business since day one of 20 years ago.
Tina, is first of all, it's so good to see you, and I hope you had a Merry Christmas. And
Same. Merry Christmas.
I love doing the show with you. Is COVID causing divorces?
I don't know. I mean, it's just like anything else, you know. It whatever's going on in the immediate surroundings, is that really the problem, or was that just there were symptoms there already, or something like that? I think, yeah, I've been busy, and my colleagues have been busy. So in the world of divorce, it's been busy. Not as much as maybe I know there's a big joke initially, like, oh, divorce lawyers are going to do really well after this, ha ha ha, because everybody's going to be home together, quarantining together, and they're all going to start hating each other, and that was a big joke. But I don't think it's worked that way. I think, you know, divorces have continued, and there was a slight interruption in the procedural stuff and the court system. I mean, a few weeks, maybe tops, in the beginning of this, where the courts didn't know what was going to happen and how we were going to do this, and they canceled things, and then everybody adapted to Zoom, and you know, it's been going strong ever since. So I don't know. I mean, I think there's some things that have been, you know, financial issues, and
yes, people are out of work.
And yeah, and yeah, absolutely, financial woes. So I've seen, you know, I don't know if I've seen any. Okay, so this is just in my practice anyway.
Okay.
I don't know that I've seen an increase in the number of divorce cases. I've seen a lot of modifications and post-divorce issues where people are having problems paying their alimony and paying their child support.
Yeah.
Because, you know, they don't have the same income that they had last year. And again, we didn't know at the beginning of this, like, how long is this going to last? Is that a temporary situation? Is it permanent? And yeah, people have lost their jobs. Other people were furloughed. Some people got their jobs back. Some people didn't. So there have just been so many things like that that have affected the world of divorce law and people getting divorced.
Bottom line is, you've been busy.
Yeah, I've been busy. Been very busy.
So I want to say, because this is I guess it's a true honor. You're not just a family attorney. you are a board certified family attorney. Tell everybody what that means. 'Cause it's
Correct.
special.
So it is special. Not to, toot my own horn, but yeah, sure. I
Toot.
mean, it's so board certified attorney. So a lot of people don't know this, and usually the way I start out explaining it is that you can be an attorney can be in Florida anyway, and there are other states that do this. Some states don't, but you can be board certified. An attorney can be board certified in, I think there's something like 30 different practice areas of law. You can be board certified in family law, in criminal law, in civil trial practice, in adoption, real property. So what that means is that the Florida Bar has designated that lawyer as an expert in that area of practice. And
Right.
it's a rigorous process to go through. It's very difficult to go through. I know quite a few lawyers that have taken the board certification exam after studying for months and practicing for 20 to 30 years or more, and then studying for months and months in a practice area that they work at vigorously daily, and still not pass the exam. It's very difficult to pass. And then also there's an ethics standards, that have to be passed. There's a peer review and judicial recommendations that you have to obtain. There's a lot of things that go into being board certified. It's basically one of the highest designations. It's the Florida Bar's only designation of an expert in their area. But yeah, usually, and I always say this to you, when I have friends or family that need a lawyer in some area, I tell them, if you can, hire a lawyer who's board certified in that area of practice, because it means that they're an expert in that field, and that is a very important designation. So I'm that.
Yeah, and there's not very many board certified family attorneys in the state of Florida.
Correct. Something like 280 ish total in the entire state of Florida out of over 100,000 lawyers are board certified in family law. And that number changes obviously for different areas of practice. But yeah, there are only fewer than 300 of us in the divorce lawyers that are board certified in the state. So it's something that, and it's an important thing, I think, for the public. It's a tool for the public to basically assure them that they can find a good lawyer.
Right. We got a text from somebody before the show that knew you were coming on. They're a snowbird, and they're in New York half the time of the year, and they're actually in Boca, which is where your office is half the time of year. Can they hire you?
So it's going to depend on their residency status.
Okay.
And I know a lot of people spend, half their time, about literally half, between two states, one of them being Florida. And a lot of people are doing the Florida resident thing so they can minimize their taxes or avoid state income tax or things like that, which is, hopefully works for a lot of people. So it just depends. So one of the rules about filing for divorce or having your divorce case have its jurisdiction in the state of Florida is that one of the parties has to be a resident of the state of Florida for more than 6 months prior to filing. And it usually does. It's not always just like your technical residency status on paper. It usually means you lived here. You actually lived here and resided here for those 6 months continuously before the filing. So the answer to that question depends.
Okay. Good answer. Tina, I told you this is like the easiest show.
It depends. It's always a good answer.
So, Tina, now with COVID, what's the number one thing people are getting divorced over now?
Gosh, I don't know if I still don't know.
Or maybe has it not changed at all?
I still don't know if there's a number one thing. I mean, within the divorce cases, obviously we've got financial disputes over people's incomes. So, for example, if the parties were getting divorced, they were unhappy for a while. This didn't start because of COVID, and now it's just time. The divorce is happening or in its prime. There might be an issue over, one of the parties is making a lot less income in 2020 than they did in 2019 because of COVID. So their hours were cut, or They were given like a contract addendum by their employer due to COVID, where okay, we're going to cut your hours or cut your pay or things like that. And then the question becomes, okay, so should they go out and get another job to make more money? Could they even do that? Because the job market is horrific right now.
Right.
We think. Are they earning at their highest capacity? And how long will that last? And then we have those disputes in the alimony cases where that's the whole issue is what does each party make? Usually the claim in an alimony case is that one person is far out earning the other, and there's a need for spousal support going forward. So those issues are, I think, more common during this time because so many people's incomes are just completely wrecked, and we don't know is it permanent? Is that going to is the field that they work in going to come back? Is their income going to come back to what it was last year? Or is it just sort of forever affected in some way? And we don't know. So those things, I think I've seen a lot more of, those issues. The reasons for the divorce, I mean, in my experience, those are always sort of, they're brewing for a while. So I don't know that I've seen the pandemic itself and the way our lives have changed be the reason for a divorce case.
Bet you the way you're doing business now has changed.
I'm doing business just like this, the way I'm
Yes.
talking to you. That's it.
Same way with the courts, right? That's
Yeah.
what you do.
And so all of our court proceedings in family law, in Palm Beach County and Broward County anyway, some of the counties in the northern parts of Florida I know are different. But down here, in South Florida, we're doing everything on Zoom. And that includes all the court proceedings, the trials, the hearings.
Things going faster now? Have you noticed that?
So it depends, because it depends who you talk to. I still have cases where, we're asking for a divorce trial now and we're not getting a date until April or May.
Okay.
That's a pretty typical trial, case docket for a trial. But, I think the court system is easier for people to access because you've got people who, sometimes I have a lot of people who one party lives in Florida, the other party lives out of state, or you've got witnesses that live out of state and you don't have to worry about having somebody fly in to testify at a hearing. Instead, they can testify from wherever they are. So those things are a little bit easier. Setting mediations, we're doing mediations like this too. And I think that is much easier for people because they don't have to go anywhere in depositions. And so, yeah, everything has been done remotely and doing, by Zoom and the like. And I think it's been actually pretty productive and pretty successful. So I don't think that, and this is my experience. I've talked to other lawyers who have had, they've had cases at trial where somebody had a technical issue, somebody had an internet issue or a Wi-Fi issue, and they got cut out and they couldn't come back, log on. And sometimes people have issues with the exhibits, trial exhibits. We've got paper,
Right.
Way back in 2019, we used to go to court and we'd have stacks of paper and we're walking around the room handing the exhibit.
Your heavy briefcase and...
Yeah. Boxes and boxes of stuff that we're rolling in. Now, some of the judges are actually taking that stuff electronically by Dropbox. Some of the judges say, well, send it to me, but I still want a binder. I want a binder of all the documents. So, but see, some of those things take a little more preparation. But if you do it the right way, I love it. I actually love it because on the Zoom screen, you can share your screen. I can scroll through a document. The judge can see it up close, exactly the thing I'm pointing to, instead of shuffling through a million papers and pages and pages of stuff. So I think if you prepare it the right way and you have a lawyer who is, you don't have to be an expert on Zoom, but, pretty adept at utilizing those resources, I think it's actually beautiful. I think it goes well. In some situations, I think it's gone better than if we were in person. But not every lawyer would agree with me. I talked to some lawyers who just don't love it, just have not, adapted to the whole idea. And, everybody's different, but I like it.
I think yours is the toughest area of law for what you have to go through, because a lot of times there's kids involved too, and a lot of emotions. We're going to go to break, and when I come back, I've got a very special question I'm going to ask you that I think there's women out there that are thinking about the same thing. And first of all, give everybody your phone number, Tina.
Sure. His phone number is 561-544-6861.
And you got a great website.
Yes. Website is lewertlaw.com. lewertlaw.com.
Okay, we're going to go to break. We're here with board certified Tina Lewert. We come back. I've got a special question. Don't get scared. It's going to be easy, but it's
nothing scares me.
Yeah, I guess not. We'll be right back with attorney Tina Lewert.
Lewert Law Offices is proud to be the family law expert on the Ask the Expert show. Attorney Tina Lewert is a board-certified specialist in marital and family law. Attorney Lewert is committed to obtaining the best resolution for your divorce or other family law case by consistently providing skilled representation, expert legal advice, and personal attention. Attorney Lewert has developed an excellent reputation for providing effective divorce and family law representation in Boca Raton and the surrounding communities. Lewert Law Offices offers legal advice and representation in a wide range of family law matters, including divorce, child custody, time sharing and visitation, child support, alimony, complex asset distribution, post-judgment modifications, and paternity actions. For expert representation in all aspects of divorce and family law, contact attorney Tina Lewert today at 561-544-6861 or visit www.lewertlaw.com.
We are back. This is the Ask the Expert show. We're on every Monday and Thursday from 6 to 7, and then our political show from 7 to 7:30 on Tuesdays. And we're here with board-certified attorney in family law, Tina Lewert. Her offices are in Boca Raton, easy to find. But with video now, it doesn't really matter where you live, does it?
It's true. My staff has been working in the office, which is great, and that's what they're choosing to do at this point. But I've been working remotely more and more, and like I said, I love it. I mean, I get a lot. I feel like it's in some ways more productive. So I've had a good experience.
Kidding.
Yeah,
it's a shame you have to have an office, isn't it?
I know. Well, I got to tell you, a lot of lawyers that I know, and other business people in general, I mean, are reevaluating their need for office space.
I believe that.
And I got to tell you, my next, lease renewal is going to be interesting because I have to make a decision. But, in the end, I think, it's good to have an office. We need it for some things. So.
Well, I told you I had something I wanted to talk to you about. And this is all comes back to, it is so important who your attorney is when it comes to family law. And I got to tell you, I have a new friend in my life, but I hear this all the time from women, not men, women, who said, oh, I let my husband off. And years later they go, I wish I hadn't done that. It was the biggest mistake I ever made. Now, you can't tell someone this is what you have to do. You can only lay it out for them, and they have to decide. But why is it there's so many women who just, give up? And they're, years later, they're so sorry they did.
Mm-hmm. I mean, well, and part of that, I have an answer. Although I don't know if I'm qualified to give the answer because that's a great question for a therapist, isn't it?
Yeah, really. Yeah.
It's true. No, but it's true. And I've been dealing with this more and more lately for some reason. What it's interesting you decided to ask me that question because I see it so frequently, and I don't know. I don't. Yeah, is it a gender thing? I don't know. Is there some talk about an epidemic of certain it's a certain personality type maybe they've let their husbands sort of control the situation, or they have controlling husbands, or they have narcissistic controlling kind of husbands and they let the guy have his way, and then now all of a sudden the divorce is happening and they just don't want to deal with it. They don't want to fight. They don't want to. They're scared of having to spend money that maybe they don't know if they have yet because of what the outcome is going to be in the divorce. And there is value. I mean, listen, there is value in settling your case. There's value in being done. There's value in having a say in the outcome. So when people go to mediation or they settle a case, whether it's in mediation or outside of mediation, you make a deal. It's a deal that you negotiated. But yeah, I do have that situation frequently where I have some clients that I have to say, hey, don't sell yourself short here because you could get X, Y, and Z if you pushed a little further or da 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 da. And but you're right. In the end, the decision is theirs. And
What do you do, Tina? What do you do if you feel like a forensic person should come in from all they've told you?
Mm-hmm.
Some of them don't want to know, I guess, what they don't know.
It might be some of them don't want to know. I mean, so typically in my experience, it's that a forensic CPA, a forensic accountant, is someone that can do like a tracing if they think there's hidden assets, or just sometimes for purposes of in any case where there's a business. Any business could be a law practice, could be a medical practice, could be a bigger business or a larger corporate interest with partners or other shareholders. Anytime there's a business, we love to employ actually forensic accountants because they can get to the bottom of, well, what is the guy, what's the real income?
Right.
Because family court looks at income very differently than the IRS looks at what is income. Income is not just the salary you're paying yourself. If you have a business, you can pay yourself maybe a tiny little salary on the books, right? But then you're paying all your other expenses out of the business. And the IRS says, oh, you can get away with certain things. But the family court says, no, wait, what are all the other expenses that you're paying with through your business? That's all income too. So when we have one of your child support cases, determining the payor's income is very important. So, we get forensic CPAs involved for that, and also to try to trace or look for hidden assets or hidden income. And I have a lot of clients that, I mean, let's be real, it's an expense. It's an additional expense of the divorce. In addition to your lawyer. And so some people have to kind of weigh, well, what am I really trying to get here? Or what do I think I could get versus the expense of that? That's a real factor. And a good lawyer will advise you on that because that's the ethical thing to do. You don't want to throw good money after bad. And, but then, I think some people, it is an additional, sometimes a little bit of a fight, because we're asking for a lot more documents. There's a forensic evaluation of a business or of a financial situation, and people generally don't like that,
Right.
So I think some people they just don't want to do the fight. And from one perspective, if you ask the therapist, it's probably in some ways emotionally healthy, not to fight the most rigorous fight you could fight, but in other ways, like I said, a good lawyer has to advise their client, well, you could be entitled to a lot more here, and maybe we need to look into that. But ultimately, you're right. It is the client's decision. And, I think a lot of it is that the divorce itself, the process itself is so emotional. And, even though we're talking about papers and numbers, and a lot of it is very sort of business-like in the end, because Florida is a no-fault state, it's still emotional. I mean, there's no way of getting around that. It's your relationship, it's your marriage, it's your family, it's it's where you're going to live and how much time you're going to get to spend with your children. So I think that most people don't want to fight, and so maybe what you're talking about stems just from that. They just want to move forward.
What happens after the case is settled and they find out 5 or 6 months later there was hidden assets. Can you take them back to court?
Yes, it depends on what, what the nature of the assets, or the extent, I guess I should say, of the assets is. I mean, so if there's if something that would make a material difference in the case or the outcome, or if you can prove that this person filed a fraudulent financial affidavit. One of the things we have to file in the case is a financial affidavit. Every party to a divorce has to do one, and it's a list of your income, your assets, your expenses. And if you sign as an affidavit that you're swearing under oath to the truthfulness of this information, if you can prove later that there was fraud on that affidavit, you can actually come back and reopen the case anytime for that.
That's a felony.
It's not done often. It's not done often because it's not so easy to prove fraud, but there's a rule. There's absolutely a rule of procedure about that.
Well, I want to end the show with, because since you were last on, our numbers have just skyrocketed. And I want just tell people about your practice and just give them a feel, because listen, you know what, it's so easy talking to you, which I think is so important when it comes to something like this, because it's very emotional. And just tell people, you're going to come to see you, and your office is easy to find. You've got a wonderful office, and they don't even have to come in.
Absolutely, and you know what? That's gonna change for sure in the legal. Probably in most industries is that we have a meeting. I've had all my client meetings on Zoom, and everybody, everybody loves it. Yeah, and no, we don't have to wear masks. We can see each other's faces just like this.
Right.
And it's pretty good. But yeah, I mean, I've been doing this for 20 years, and all I do is family law. All I do is divorce, and I hear the music, so I'll give you the website again. If you want more information or other information about family law, it's lewertlaw.com, LEWERT law.com, and the phone number is 561-544-6261.
Listen, I'm going to tell you something. I don't endorse too many people, but I do endorse Tina. She is a wonderful, wonderful attorney. So whether it's yourself or your parents or a friend, whatever, and you want to make sure you get a good attorney, Tina Lord. Give me your phone number one more time, Tina.
Sure, 561-544-6261.
And Happy New Year.
Happy
You're the
New
best.
Year. Happy 2021.
And we'll
You guys are the best.
Tina will
Thanks
be
for
back with
listening
us
to
next
the
month.
Ask the Expert
Thanks,
Show,
Tina.
Featuring interviews
Thanks,
with local
Steve. Take care.
experts in the fields of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. Call our office at 888-574-6999 to become one of our experts on the show. And tune in again next week for more Ask the Experts with Steve-O. The opinions expressed on the preceding sponsored program were strictly those of its hosts, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors.